Hello, hello, hello. Great, beautiful, blessed afternoon because it is noon o'clock here, Eastern Standard Time in Georgia. Hello, everyone. I am on Tickety Talkety, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So find me if you can. If y'all could please let me know, am I live everywhere? Do you see me everywhere? Hey, Annabella in Tickety Talkety World. Hey, Jonathan. All right, so I am live places. Somebody tell me about Facebook. Facebook. No. All right, I'm gonna put you right here. Tickety Talkety. Anyhow, hello. If you do not know me, my name is Tenille Stewart. I help women who've been diagnosed with lupus or other chronic illness go from confused and discouraged to healed, hopeful, and in control of the medical narrative. Welcome. Hey, YouTube, welcome to the mix. All right. Do we see me everywhere else? What about Facebook? Yes, Facebook. Thank you so much. All right. So today on episode 47, I really just want to keep it nice and simple and to the point. So last week, I was taught how to, on StreamYard, post my pictures. And that was a blessing because sometimes I'm talking about things and I'm completely aware that people don't understand what I'm really saying because it's something you've never seen before. So like describing the whole movie is, never as good as seeing the movie yourself. So I'm going to take y'all through my first major flare-up. And I'll say my first major because this past 2021, I had another major. And that one I had a stroke. I had listeria. I was in the hospital again for another 3 months. However, I wanted to explain how these flare-ups go. So at that point, the major flare-up, at that point, I had been well for a while. Like, that was after my first, encounter, just knowing what lupus was. If you don't know what lupus is, autoimmune disease, it is basically your body is confused and your healthy immune system is attacking healthy cells, thinking that they are diseased cells and they have to get rid of them. So they go hard in the paint. They don't just like, you get a cold and then it's all of a sudden pneumonia. And I've had pneumonia 6 times, maybe more, around 6 times. And I was prompted to do this podcast episode, topic, because my mother was talking to one of my grandmother's care team, and telling him stories about this flare up and how she was just in shock and certain things that made her react certain ways. I'm like, wow, being on the other side of it, I had no concept of what was going on. But so a flare up would normally go, you're fine. The thing is that you look fine, and you are, your body's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Right now, does it look like I'm in any pain? Does it look like anything's wrong with me? Probably not. I'm pretty sure I look normal and fine and everything is cool, except for I actually will probably have to go to the doctors today for something that's going on with me. So that is the nature of the beast. It's just a invisible illness that you cannot see. So this was after my first flare up and getting actually diagnosed with lupus. And I had gone to college. Originally, I was a music major, classical voice major, classical piano minor. And then that was in Florida. And I moved to New York, traumatic things, got diagnosed with lupus, And at 20 something, I get back in to college, right? 2021, I don't know, something. I get back into college. And at this point, I'm a nutrition major because I'm so excited that I understand food a little bit more. Like, I want to know everything now because for my first flare up, when I couldn't eat for months, I could not eat anything. I couldn't keep down anything besides Pedialyte popsicles. I couldn't even drink straight water, just Pedialyte popsicles. So, the first time I was able to keep food down was a strawberry. And I will remember for the rest of my life how that strawberry tasted. I felt like I felt every molecule of that strawberry dispersed in my body. I was like, is this what food is like? Have I been missing food this whole time? And I guess I was because, I was a Floridian through and through, and I was a junk food junkie. Like, I definitely was doing. Thank you. Thank you so much for the prayers. I always appreciate those. Hey guys. Hey. So yeah, I was, a junk food junkie, and I definitely, your taste buds get dull to fresh foods after a long time of eating a lot of processed foods and things that are like coating your tongue with oil and sugar and those things. And mind you, sugar and fat are not the devil because they're literally things that keep us alive. You need carbs, you need fat, you need those macronutrients because that's how the body is run, right? The only thing is, as a society, we very much lost touch of, uh, you know, the whole foods. Like, if it's not in a package, then I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? Like, here I am now, and a lot of times we make our own bread. I'm fully vegan. My family, not as much. However, they do eat a lot of things that I cook, and I make things that are, still have sugar and fat and all those things, just healthier versions and more, less processed versions. So, whatever. I'm in school for nutrition. It's going great. Things are growing great. And I get to the end of my last semester, and I am dying, dying. So I all I can do is like go to school and come home and go to bed. Like, I don't know how I passed any of my finals. I don't know how any of it happened. Especially the head of the department, the dietetics department, had asked me, do you want to leave school and just come back when you're feeling better? And this was my last semester. My mother, at that point, at the last few weeks, my mother was taking me to school and then rolling me around in a wheelchair because I was too weak to like get from class to class because they were too far away. And yeah, there was a school elevator and yeah, a wheelchair. And we had a meeting, and she asked me to drop out. So not drop out, but like take a break. So if I were to have taken a break at that time, I would have had to redo a bunch of my like preliminary, like first classes I took when I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I told her, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. So I finished school, graduate, have a degree in nutrition that I don't use for anything, but I digress. So I graduate. During that couple of weeks, my uncle is murdered, my car is totaled, and I'm a sick, sad girl. Okay. I'm a sick, sad girl. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm just going to lay in my bed until I feel better. Like, I'm not going to the hospital because they're going to keep me and I don't want to. So I lay in my bed for an exorbitant amount of time. Thank you very much. Yeah, it felt like an accomplishment. The pictures of graduation, I don't look like I'm dying at all, but I was. So I went to the doctors just to see if they could give me a little touch of prednisone so I could, survive. I was like, could I just, I just want to survive a little bit because this whole dying thing isn't working out for me. So I get a little bit of prednisone and I feel a little bit better and I think I'm going to be okay. And then I come down with this cough. This cough is outrageous. It is ridiculous. Honestly, I have no idea how, uh, like, my neighbors weren't scared. It sounded like a horse, like a 95-year-old smoker. Like it wasn't good. So I come down with this cough, and that's eventually when I think my grandma was like, take her to the doctor. Don't care what she says. She has to go. She's not dying in my house. That was something she used to say a lot. You're not dying in my house. You find somewhere else. You better go to go to the doctors. So I go to the doctors, and they keep me. Lo and behold, they keep me. Man, this sucks. Whatever. So I am in the doctors, and I'm in the hospital, admitted, and they are like, "Oh, there's fluid on your lungs," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, cool, cool, cool." They pump a liter and a half of fluid off of my lungs. So like a 2 liter bottle of soda, you know, like that's 2 liters. So almost a whole one of those off of my lungs, and they're like, "So we're gonna keep you. We're gonna keep you. This is not good. we don't we don't think this is supposed to be happening." And I'm like, "Okay, fine, whatever." So they keep me, and I'm in there for like uh probably like a month or something like that. And they're just running a bunch of tests and figuring out what's going on, whatever. And then when they do that, they find I have a blood clot in my leg, a notable blood clot. The one day, the testing that gets done, the liter and a half of fluid, they pump that out of your lungs while you're awake, and you're not allowed to have anyone in the room with you, and you can watch it on a little TV in the corner of the room, and you're like draped over a thing, and they numb it up, and they put the cord, like the sucky string, into your lung while you are awake, and they tell you not to move, not to make any noise. Me myself, I was crying. I was, and Miss Stewart, Miss Stewart, please, you don't want to pop your lung. We need you to stop crying. And me, okay, okay, I will never forget. Okay, ma'am, please don't talk. I couldn't help it. It was terrifying. So yeah, so that happened, and there was a blood clot, and like a notable blood clot to where when you go get a Doppler, I don't know what it's called, when they X-ray the inside of your leg for blood clots. It's like when you're pregnant, ultrasound, when they ultrasound your leg. Uh, they're not supposed to give you any results. No results are supposed to be told by any techs, only the doctors. Except this poor man, uh, was ultrasounding my leg, stopped, and gasped. Like, because I guess it was the biggest blood clot I'd ever seen in a leg. And breaking records, breaking records. So yes. So I stayed in the hospital until the night before Christmas Eve. Me and my roommate, who was like, I think she was in her 80s or 90s. She's old. God rest her soul. I made friends with her whole family. I had a roommate in the hospital, and both of us are singing Christmas carols and crying. We want to go home for Christmas. We don't want to stay in the hospital for Christmas. And mind you, if you have a hospital near you, or you are able in any way, please go bring a treat. Even if it's a healthy thing, or flowers, or something sweet to the hospital staff. And thank you so much. I'm so glad to be thriving as well. Bring something sweet to the hospital, because holidays in hospitals are the most depressing. The most depressing. I'm going to show y'all some pictures. TikTok, I might have to bring you up to see it. I'm going to show you some pictures. I'm going to show you a holiday in the hospital. It's real sad. I swear I thought that I was smiling in this picture. I was not. Trigger warning. If you're afraid of scary looking people, look away. I'm going to show you a holiday in the hospital. That is me. TikTok, can you see it? Can you see it? Yeah. That is me Valentine's Day. And I thought I was smiling in that picture. And girl, you were looking terrifying in that picture. Please never make that face again. But yeah, that is a Valentine's Day picture. And I'll take it off. I'm sorry, everyone. um, so, but miraculously, and I think it was really because I had so many homies in the hospital, they let me go before Christmas. So I went home Christmas Eve and and didn't look crazy. Uh, and I stayed out of the hospital for 2 weeks. I stayed a week. I stayed out of the hospital for Christmas and New Year's. So New Year's, New Year's. People hate that. For the New Year, I went to one of my best friend's house in Monticello, New York. Went upstate. Went to a party. Very weak. Not missing the party. Very weak. Still not missing the party. I've been to a house party with my sick self and been in the chair in the middle of the house party with no chairs, just like, like, I don't know, I'm kind of older. So like house party, dancing, sweating, people everywhere, all the things happening, me in the middle of the party, just in a chair because I don't want to miss it. So that, but for New Year, I went to a New Year party. I went to sleep that night and woke up in the morning with a swollen eye. So it wasn't insane yet, but it was a swollen eye. And everybody's giving me the side eye because they're like, you know how this goes, girl. You get one little thing and then something goes on and something goes on. And I'm like, no, you guys, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm fine. And let me tell you that my friend Elena came back with me to Mount Vernon where I was living and stayed a couple days. And my eye just kept swelling and swelling and swelling. And by the time that one eye closed down, I went to the hospital. And I waited 24 hours in the waiting room to get a hospital bed. So yes, I'm in there. This is it. I go get in the hospital bed, and I'm thinking they're gonna stop this swelling. Like my face is not just gonna continue to swell. I was wrong. They could not figure out how to get it to stop, and I don't even know how long it took. It took them a hot minute. It took them a hot minute for them to stop the swelling. So I also have pictures of this. I don't want anyone to be freaked out. So trigger warning again. Trigger warning again, y'all. I'll show you the pictures. So this is a front view of my face. Yeah. That's it. I don't know if y'all can see in TikTok land, but I hope so. Yeah, that is my face. So I could technically see. There's like a tiny hole I could see. And if I pulled my eyes up and held them with my fingers, I could see. Here's a side view. Side view. Ooh. That dowel in my ear was trying to preserve some of my piercings. I had a bunch of piercings at that time. And yep, none of them really survived. So, but yeah, so let me take this off so we're not scaring the people. Everyone come back. Everyone, trigger warning's over. I'm sorry. I apologize. So they had me swelling in the hospital and they're trying to figure out how to stop this swelling. So this is how I end up in the medical journals. So I am in this state of swelling and it's my entire head all the way down. So like neck and shoulders, chest to my belly button. And there was like a very definitive line that stopped at my belly button where the swelling stopped and then the rest of my body was normal. It was real weird. Things were real weird. So, yeah, I was uncomfortable. I was definitely in pain. And yes, God is so great. God is so great. So I got out of that situation and they used something on me at that point that wasn't really cleared by the FDA. It was still in testing stages and I signed off on it. Don't remember signing off on it because I was half dead. So yeah, they did this experimental thing, got me to stop swelling, and then they still had me in the in the hospital for observations and that kind of stuff. So uh, I I was not swollen anymore, but I was so very weak, super weak. Couldn't really eat, couldn't lift my head. I couldn't lift my head since before when it was swollen because it was like so heavy. And then like my neck muscles had atrophied. I couldn't. So I was in the hospital for a while. And like the story that I tell, I've told the story everywhere several times, and I'll tell it again for the rest of my life. That I was in this hospital bed, I was in ICU, and I told them I was in Hawaii. The doctor tells you to orient yourself. Where are you? Who are you? Blah, blah. I told them, I'm Tenille and I'm in Hawaii and I'm running on the beach. They're running and they're sweating. I'm not sweating. I just want to let you know that 3 years later, I was on the beach running in Hawaii. So I was there. I just not, the time was off, but I knew, my body knew that's where I was going. So, um, yes. But that's why I end up in these medical journals. I was not, sought out to do this. They didn't really, it was all just effect of the what they had to resort to fix me at that time. So all the things ended me in this medical journal. So I'm going to show you some pictures of me being better. So when there is a flare up, for me at least, and I feel like it's most people, when there's a flare up, the recovery time is outrageous. It's at least 1 year to get to looking like a normal human being. And when I say normal human being loosely, because I was looking like this, thinking I was looking good, and I was looking real crazy. Here, TikTok. It's like bald, skinny in weird places, and things are weird. So like, if you look weird right now, Lupus Warrior, if you look weird right now, Chronic Illness Warrior, you're fine. You're gonna be just fine. I love it and I hate it when people are like, you don't look like what you've been through, because I need y'all to understand that these things happen all the time to everyone. Like, to any chronically ill person who looks great today could look insane tomorrow, and they're just going to have to roll with that punch. Okay? Your looks are the least interesting thing about you. I could write several books about a million other things in my life that have nothing to do with this illness. I'm in medical journals, and some people may only know me from this disease and this disorder. There's so much more. And you watching this right now, there is so much more. You are a masterpiece. The Bible says so. And I'm so excited for you to live past things like this, like I've lived past things like this. And, I had to explain this story for people to know that, like, yes, I look like this. And I'm giving advice on situations that are, I want to say, diabolical. Like how in the world can a body go through this and be resilient and come back? How can I look like this after looking like Mr. Potato Head? God. It's literally God. And I just want you to keep the faith. If you are in a hospital bed right now, if you are in a situation where you are feeling a lot of pain, all pain ends, babes. All pain ends. And they never predicted I would get out of that. They never predicted. There's so many other stories. My mother was telling these stories, and I kind of want to tell it from her perspective. If I can get her on this podcast, somebody request her on this podcast, because dang, the way she tells the stories and like the emotion behind it, it's just outrageous. But yeah, I just want to let you know. Yeah, this was my most traumatic and well documented flare up to that date. And here I am. I see you. You see me. We're doing okay. We are okay. And lupus can't get us down. chronic illness can't get us down. Just keep going. Keep going. If you're going through hell, why stop? Keep going. Get through it. All right, warriors. Have a beautiful, blessed day. And I hope this story was useful for you in some way. And I'll see you guys next week. Stay happily healed. Bye.